Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. This is Gameweek 13 Deadline stream. My name is Hafiz and would like to welcome Azmin to the stream. How's things, brother?
Okay, quite right. Apologies for we had a bit of technical issues, but we're back and as we inch closer to the deadline, but today's deadline is 2:30. So that's about 2 hours, less than 2 hours from now. So plenty of time to do some last minute discussions. Of course, we probably won't be getting any leaks during our stream, but yeah, let's go for it. Friday night for after a while.
Right. Thank you all for joining. There was an issue just now, but we managed to live, which is the best thing that is possible for us to streamline. And let's jump straight into the Gameweek 13 fixture. We know the deadline will be at 2:30 a.m. Malaysian time because the early kickoff is Brighton versus Southampton, a really nice one as an opening for this week. And then after that, we have 11 p.m. on Saturday, Brentford versus Leicester, Palace versus Newcastle, Forest versus Ipswich, and Wolves and Bournemouth. Really some nice fixture there. And on midnight, West Ham versus Arsenal. We already talked about that. West Ham won last week. But Arsenal continue to win in the Champions League. So we shall see what happened in this game. On Sunday, we have Chelsea versus Villa. We have Manchester United versus Everton. First game for Emery at Old Trafford. And then Spurs versus Fulham, London derby. Anything can happen in that game. And last but not least, the biggest match of the week. Liverpool facing Man City, winless in 5. So I think that's the proper game we have for this week. So, are we ready for the team news? I think that's what we're going to do. Run through. I think there's some particular players who doubt, especially in midweek after the Champions League, the Europa competition, the likes of Spurs, Arsenal, even to an extent Liverpool players. I heard that you also have a recent news in terms of the Liverpool defense. We'll definitely talk about that. Let's jump to the first team news on Brighton versus Southampton. There's a lot of interest, especially on the Brighton team. So what's the latest news?
Okay, firstly, the biggest news in terms of at least where the squad is concerned is that Carlos Baleba is suspended. Now, we know, obviously, on a FPL perspective, you won't be picking him. He's a defensive midfielder, but he does add a lot of stability in terms of the Brighton setup. Other than that, Lewis Dunk apparently will return, but because, given the quality that Igor Julia has together with Van Hag, recently, so we are not doing Dunk immediately returns into the squad. We don't know. I predict no. He maybe the midweek match. That's when he comes in. So then the rotation will start. Yeah, so I think he'll be given some minutes. I don't think he will immediately return into the starting lineup. Not yet, especially with Brighton doing so well. So that's it for Brighton. In terms of Southampton, a lot of Onuachu was who started up front, but then at the end of the day, anything can change with Southampton assets. We're not looking to actually take in even someone like Billing, who at first it looked like he may be a good option, but now he's not. And of course, Lallana, the good old boy Lallana, will miss with a hamstring issue, so he's not going to be in there anyway. But of course, the biggest problem with Southampton is the fact that Bednarek and Ramsdale, the key components of that Southampton defense, are still out as well. So McCarthy will still be in there, and what's his name? Howard Bellis together with Stephens and maybe Downs as well. Yeah, in the centre back side. So this matchup, a lot of people are excited, because after Pedro has scored back-to-back double digits, so you expect him to come and play this one at home to Southampton, who love passing out the back and at major risk, as we saw in last week. So you got a lot of transfers in for Pedro for this week.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're thinking about Welbeck, thinking of João Pedro, they should be fine. I think Lewis Dunk is the question. If you're wildcarding, if you're thinking about bringing Dunk this week, it is definitely a risk, a doubt, because you're not sure whether they're going to play. I think Van Hag and Igor should start in the centre back. That's the feeling, and why you need to rush, because there are plenty game coming out, right, man? Because you did touch on we forgot to mention game week 14 will be on midweek, which is somewhere Tuesday and Wednesday, and after that on Saturday there'll be another match of game week. Plenty of matches, so I'm pretty sure if we're in the seats of the managers, you're thinking about not only this game but future games. So I think that's the only concern.
So as we know, Brighton have a lot of good fixtures as well. So one of the other options that has been talked about a lot on Twitter and Facebook is Mitoma as another option, to take advantage of this Brighton's good run of fixtures.
Right, let's go to the next game, man. Brentford versus Leicester. Okay, there's a rumors about Van Nistelrooy coming in as the new manager, but he is not yet, I suppose. So what's the latest news?
No. Okay, so Brentford again, get Ajer, a key component of that defense back, is out as well. Norgard, who took a red card in that draw against Everton, so apparently he's been overturned, so it's not a foul play, so he is free to play. They are going to play at home, and we know that in the past 3 matches, it's been goal fest at home for Brentford against any opponent. Obviously, last game week they played away and managed to get a draw against Everton, but that was against Everton, who didn't score at all in the entire month of November. So they're hopeless. Yeah. So against any other team, Leicester have scored in 11 out of the 12 matches that the league has had so far. So in terms of goal scoring, it's not a problem. Even last week they still scored against Chelsea as well. So scoring doesn't seem to be an issue for Leicester. So I will expect this will be a game also high in goals. So obviously those with Mbeumo, El Wissa, you're likely to have it. So in terms of Leicester, just now you mentioned Ruud van Nistelrooy. They still negotiating. It was announced, but nothing's finalized yet. A lot of speculation saying that he wants to bring some backroom staff, and they need to negotiate that as well. So nothing's confirmed yet. So the caretaker boss, assistant, first team coach Ben Dawson is there. So in terms of the injury news, Harry Winks is likely going to miss the trip, so he's not going to be available. The good news, the best news for Leicester is that Buonanotte comes back. So Buonanotte, who I think he scored 3 goals so far, so he's one of the brightest sparks, and very in terms of creativity, they do rely on him for creativity, and it. I don't know if it also to do with Steve Cooper's tactics last week, but it showed that they were hardly in the game at all. Even that penalty was some Chelsea nonsense that led to the penalty. So, but for once it wasn't Sanchez's fault. So I don't know if you know, but there's a lot of also in the backstory that they were doing some party somewhere, and
There
was something saying we miss you so much, Enzo, your current Chelsea manager. So a lot of controversy there. But apparently the top were referring to the Thai boss of Leicester has already came down on them and told them this has to stop. You can't have this kind of thing. Of course, Steve Cooper lost his job. So it'd be interesting to see whether there'll be because previously when the Ten Hag left, right, and it was still a caretaker in the form of RVN, and there was a bounce. There was clearly a manager bounce, even though it was a caretaker. And the rationale is that with Manchester United, a lot of players were not happy with Erik Ten Hag's tactics, or they were unhappy. And the moment he left, and suddenly they were able to score freely and do well. So, but not a lot of talk is being done with Leicester. So couldn't Leicester have the same thing as well? Because they clearly not happy. There was someone, rumor has it, of course, but speculation is most likely Jamie Vardy saying that, they not very unhappy with how Steve Cooper set up, against Chelsea, and it's just very, very negative. So if they want to put their money where their mouth is, these players, if they're complaining so much, they better come out here and give a good game.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, definitely at home, Brentford are really a beast. They can score a high-scoring game. Just take a look for the past 3 home game for Brentford. They scored 3-2 against Portsmouth, 4-3 against Ipswich, and 5-3 against Wolves. So
Yeah.
ready or not, if you have any of those Bomo visa, you're definitely really looking forward to this game for definitely a goal feast at least, right?
Yes, but at the same time, obviously, a lot of us have more. Maybe you don't have visa, but because picking them up now is going to be a problem because Brentford will have some bad run of fixtures after this. But at the same time, Leicester has a good fixture run. So if you're going to go try to take advantage, because as you mentioned just now, even though Brentford wins at home, but then they still let in so many goals. So could you risk picking up a Leicester player now? And if you were, then it's got to be Buonanotte. It can't be, Vardy's not going to be able to play midweek, Tuesday, Saturday. I don't know how much time he's going to get. So it's a punt if you are interested. So I'm just putting it out now.
All right, let's go to the team news. Next one, man. Crystal Palace versus Newcastle. I think there's some interest news coming from the Crystal Palace camp. What's the latest news for both teams?
So the biggest news is that now Eze, who rumored even before the international break he might be back, but he wasn't. So now he does return to the matchday squad together with Nketiah. So question is, will they immediately go into the squad? I'm not sure. The thing is, Crystal Palace have been collecting some results, not winning, but they're getting draws against Villa last time out, which is pretty good considering Villa are in the top half of the table. So whether or not they will disrupt it, but they will need to disrupt it because, at least for Eze, because, without Eze, they do lack that, extra spark. And obviously at the start of the season, Eze hasn't returned, but for the football purposes, he needs to come back in. So Kamada, there's also that risk because, someone like Kamada who takes out at midfield spot, he's banned as well. So chances are Eze should be able to come in. And Nketiah, I'm not so sure because since he came, he hasn't had an impact yet. So maybe he'll be used a bit more sparingly. So Newcastle fresh off the upset from West Ham, losing 2-0. So in terms of the injury news, so Gomares and Willock have a chance. So it doesn't look like it is serious, but I think they have enough people. So got Trippier and Wilson coming back. For those of you who have Isaac or looking at Isaac, Wilson is already there, and it does put that Isaac minutes risk in that sense, because we've seen that when Wilson and Isaac play together, it's not as successful as just playing as a solo striker. So if Wilson does come in, most likely it'll be for Isaac, unless they're chasing and trying to win a game. Yeah, so that's where we are. Of course, Peddlers, as we know, is desperate to keep getting wins, and they may want to play at home against Newcastle. Newcastle will have fresh off a loss. Maybe they'll hope to try to get a result, but I don't know. Newcastle might just still be too strong. Burn, who was suspended last week, comes back into the side for Newcastle.
All right. I think just to make it interesting, because Palace right now in the bottom three, they are on 19. They are definitely desperate for points. So they will go for it. The return of Eze potentially will definitely strengthen the team, but Newcastle is not an easy meet. So interesting how this will pan out.
They'll look at Wolves and think if Wolves can do it, can win against the higher top team, they should be able to. So yeah, this is some motivation.
All right. Good stuff. Let's go to the next team in. Forest versus Ipswich. Definitely people are looking forward if, let's say, you stay having the likes of Boots, but Ipswich has got a good result away at home against Manchester United the last time around. So what the latest news for both teams?
So of course for Forest, Wood will come back into the starting lineup, no doubt. I think the issue was he was benched, but I don't know if it was benched because of international exertion or it's just a tactic by Santo thinking that it's Arsenal are going to be too much for Forest because at the end of Forest didn't ever have a shot in the first half of the game. So it was that dominant Arsenal, which I felt that it was a bit of a giveaway. So Morgan Gibbs-White should be, rumors that he may be able to return. We're not sure. And Elanga as well, who has been quite important to the side in terms of the attack. So we're not sure. So it is a problem, which you would see the attack be a bit blunt, as we saw last week. So Ipswich, yes, they managed to secure that 1-1. Jacob Greaves is back. I think quite a few of us still have him on our teams because he's just like what 4.0, 3.9, can't remember exactly. But but he may not immediately go back in. So because Burgess has been doing well while Greaves was out, so we don't know. So FPL options, the like of Davis and Dilap should be there. So Forest need a win. They have lost, I think, 2 matches already. So that early season good form is starting to peter out. So I think they will be able to get a win here, but it's going to be a tough one.
All right. Okay, good stuff. If you have Wood, this could be the last game that you're going to play him and then move him out because Forest going to have really tough fixture coming up. But if you're on wildcard, you might not pick Wood in your team. So let's go to the next team team news. Wolves versus Bournemouth. So Cunha really explosive last week, and Bournemouth lost at home against Brighton, so they want to bounce back. So what's the latest news?
So the good news is that Dawson will be back. So we don't know he'll immediately come back in. I'm not sure, but given that Wolves actually kept clean sheets, so it was quite amazing. And when they kept a clean sheet against
they conceded one goal against Fulham. They lost
what I mean is the match before when they kept a clean sheet.
Southampton, yes,
yeah, and then of course they conceded one goal against Fulham. So whether or not Dawson comes back in, but obviously Dawson is very strong, and he's quite reliable, so he should come in. Sarabia, who may come in, I'm not sure if it's for Gomez or Bellegarde, probably for Gomez. But one thing with Sarabia is he does take penalties. So I don't know whether or not that will still be the case because we're all hoping Cunha, those of us that Cunha might have penalties, but with Sarabia around, that might not be the case. So Bournemouth, of course, the biggest thing with Bournemouth is that Semenyo is banned. And I did take a look at the highlights of the Bournemouth-Brighton, and Semenyo was very important to that attack. So without him, you would expect to see less options, not just in terms of shots, but he was quite creative as well. A lot of key passes, big chances created by Semenyo. I saw some really good ones that unfortunately Bournemouth were able to convert. So of course Ryan Christie comes in, so he's going to be able to help in that midfield side. But I think Wolves are on fire right now, and those of you Cunha and Aït-Nouri could actually score a goal in this one. I can see it happening. It's in the stars. I call it here.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's the situation with Joseza and Sam Johnston, because Johnston is fine. What do you think, Min? Is Joseza is number one now for?
So Wolves? I actually asked Black Wolf on Twitter. He's quite a Wolves expert. I've been reading up on him on his discussions on Wolves, and back in Wildcard 9, because he was talking about how Cunha would be a good pick, and I just went a bit early, and it turns out to be good. So according to him, he said that Sarr should, given that they have won the last few matches, Sarr should continue to start unless he screws up big time. Yeah, and we do remember that when Sarr first came in, because Johnston was here, he did have a screw up. So I thought that was it. But because Johnston still continued to be out, so Sarr was given a run, and it's been doing well for Wolves. So we think that Sarr will start in place, until further notice.
All right, let's go to the next team news. West Ham versus Arsenal. It's an important match for Arsenal, definitely doing catch up in terms of league position. But West Ham do win against Newcastle, so they are on a high moral. What's the latest news for both teams?
Oh, so difference West Ham, there really is no changes in terms of actually Kudus and continues to be suspended. This is the last game, by the way. So he'll be back next week, in time for West Ham's nice fixture turn. Then Fulkrug, who they have brought in during the summer, he's still out. So he's not even mentioned. So he's not yet ready. But supposedly he'll be back sometime in December. And Lopetegui in Arteta fashion said, 2 unnamed players have little problems, but positive they can all be ready. So we don't know, but if he's positive, they can all be ready. I'm not sure. I think he just doesn't want to reveal. But when he said positive, they can't be ready. Based on his language, I think whoever it is not a real big concern. So on the Arteta side, yes, what happened? What's the status with Gabriel? We're not sure. Wait and see. That was, so that was his case. So this is a big problem for those of us who have Gabriel. I wouldn't recommend you selling him because whatever the problem is, it's not going to rule him out for very long. Just hopefully you have a good, decent bench player who can come in for Gabriel. So just in case he doesn't return. And, given the risks involved, they might let Gabriel rest this week just to be on the safe side if there is any issue. So we don't know if there really is an issue. I don't know because he was subbed out like the 88th minute or something, which which could be just some trickery because we know that Arteta does this. So anyway, so the big news, of course, with Arsenal because Timber has been doing well because White's still out from yesterday, but Timber seems to be doing well with Saka. So he's as a 5.5, he's becoming, he's been listed as, I don't know if he's already increased to 5.6, but he's a possible option if you want to double up together with Gabriel and you don't want Saliba, because Timber has been getting into some good forward positions. Yeah, so he may be a good use in Arsenal's good fixture run. So so I think everyone's on the Twitterverse and on social media have been hyping up this is another great game for Arsenal. But I think we are ignoring the fact that West Ham have had a bit of a revival. They've kept 2 clean sheets and managed to win against Newcastle, who isn't exactly a pushover either. So can they do the same against Arsenal at home? I'm not sure, but I think Arsenal will still win, but it's not going to be as easy as we think it will be. Yeah.
I'm not sure about wait and see on Gabriel. So we are unsure, but we will not be surprised. Let's say Gabriel play this game, right?
Turns
so
out. No, not at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I suggest whatever it is, don't sell because he's Arteta's full of it.
I think you just pray for you're optimistic on the situation. If he miss, hopefully your bench, whoever coming in, just make sure you line up your bench correctly. Whoever your bench is.
So the other thing is because of it was after the international break, and then you saw players like Havertz and Martinelli were not in the starting lineup, so they should all come back into the starting lineup. It's almost the full shebang for Arsenal back. Definitely not going to be Jesus again.
All right. The predicted score in BBC Sports, Arsenal win 1-0. 1-0. Only 1-0.
Oh, by 1-0. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So this is a London derby, by the way. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Next game, my team, Chelsea versus Villa. I think Chelsea continue to have a good result. I think they won again also in Conference League, but that's a different competition. So what's the latest news for both teams?
So apparently so many people didn't travel for the Thursday one, which they won anyway. So Pedro didn't go, Gusto didn't go, of course Palmer didn't go. But at the end of the day, it was another okay result for Chelsea, not an issue. So only person out is Reece James. So the only thing is there's been a lot of talk on how, because Palmer, at least on the FPL sense, he hasn't been informed, even though Chelsea has been winning. So there's been a lot of talk about how his positioning, whether it will change, whether how effective it is. And we saw that when Enzo starts, when Enzo's in the team, it does give an outlet, because right now it seems like when Chelsea play Lavia and Caicedo together, it seems to isolate Palmer a bit, and it's easy for oppositions to double up on him, stopping him. But so I don't know how Chelsea will line up. Having said that, you would think that Maresca will learn. I don't know, because I think obviously he's worried about conceding, which is why he plays Lavia and Caicedo, but whether or not it matters against Aston Villa, not sure. And coming to Aston Villa, so Kamara and Konsa came back in UCL, so they are there to help shore up that back line. Kamara, of course, in defensive midfield, and Onana could have a chance. So theoretically, Aston Villa are almost full strength. So the question is, can they continue? So obviously, Digne, who was benched because of internationals, he should come in as well. It was a frustrating 0-0 draw against Juventus as the last-minute goal by Rodgers was ruled out, controversially. But so it's another frustrating day for Villa, who have I can't remember how many, they haven't won for 5 games now or something. 5 or 6 games now. So they're desperate. The thing is, they're going to continue with that high line that Palmer and Jackson can definitely exploit. So, I can see this as a win. It's just a question for Chelsea, easy win, despite Villa, being okay, but they are in bad form themselves. So it's a question of how many goals, and we don't know Palmer will be involved.
Yeah, agree. So basically, if you have thinking about Palmer and so on, they should be good. I think one of the concerns last week is Gusto didn't start the game, but the predicted lineup shows that he'll be back in this team. So hopefully everything goes smooth for if you own Gusto. But if not, it's still uncertain because despite Reece James out, we can see last week, Buddy Shell can come in to just cover for those players, right? Okay, let's go to the next team news. Amorim first game in charge at Old Trafford, Manchester United versus Everton. We know both, especially Everton also, not scoring goals, but Manchester United really desperate one. The first game win for Amorim. So what's the latest for both team?
So if the new manager continues to go for his 3-4-3 formation, then it looks like with Evans not around, then Mazzari, Delight, and Martinez should continue. Will be at the back. So now it's a question of where Fernandes is going to play. So it's quite a case, but then there's a huge case for letting him go simply because it seems like he will be pushed deeper in the current setup. I know it's not looking good. We saw it in the Ipswich game, and we actually saw it as well in midweek. Who did they play? I can't remember. Bodo Glimt, something like that. Yeah. So they won 3-2. Yeah, but Fernandes is not in that typical position. I think he still has penalties, but it's not very attractive at the moment. As the Amorim looks to get the right system with the right players. Everton, they've now got back-to-back clean sheets, so it's definitely good for them, except that they don't seem to be able to score goals. Obviously, Brantwaite's return is a huge part in that. So this could be a tough one for Manchester United as well. So, it's going to be a tough one. It could be a draw.
Yep. The predicted score also in BBC Sport predict that there will be a draw 1-1. But definitely Manchester United fan will definitely want this win for Amorim. So continue their win from the midweek game in Europa League, right? So okay, that's the Manchester United versus Everton. If you still have Bruno Fernandes, I think you're just fine. You just play this game and then reassess next week, where they will play away to Arsenal next week. So that's a next week game. All right. What else? Spurs versus Fulham, Ming? A lot of defensive issues for Spurs, but also for Fulham, we can see that Anderson also might miss this game.
So it's another London derby, the second London derby. So got Spurs. Romero, it looks like he may still be out, although the NG isn't ruling him out. They do have an additional day because Spurs play on the Sunday, right? Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, Spurs play on the Sunday. So Solanke appears to be fine. So but obviously the biggest missing person is Vicario and Van der Ven and Romero as well. Yeah, obviously Richarlison's out for a while. So that absence of Vicario is gonna be motivational for Fulham. Fulham who will off a surprise loss against Wolves at home, no less. And so they'll look to bounce back, but they have defensive issues of their own with Anderson, who since he came in from Palace has been very good for Fulham. He's out, so that's gonna hurt as well. It does mean Bessie comes in, so Bessie and Diop will be the ones who will be in that centre back there. There's a question. So the question now is Raul going to continue to start? So after he missed another sitter and didn't seem to be in good form, I think my opinion is he will start, but then the midweek is going to be a big question. We do not, even though he scores, it's going to be a question because I don't think he's going to be able to play in such a short space of time with Raul being at his current stage of his career. So you may want to keep him because of Spurs' defensive issues. This is the same argument we had with Haaland last week, isn't it? To Spurs issues, keep Haaland. So Spurs defensive issues, keep Raul. But this will be the last hurrah for him because after that, then it becomes a rotation risk, and I don't think he's worth keeping anymore.
Yeah, just quickly have a look at the predicted lineup. Raul Jimenez is expected to start this game. I think they have like 7 days gap of rest since last game.
Yes.
So I think they should be fresh. But after that, like you mentioned, because we game, after that Saturday game, we do believe Silva will rotate and Muniz will definitely get some game time or starts one of those games, right?
Yep.
Okay. Last but not least, I think the Liverpool and Man City main. I know the latest news that we heard that Konate is out, but you certainly knows how long he will be out. So let's share with the audience.
Yep. So we got news also from reliable Liverpool connected sources that Konate is out, and it looks like for maybe 5 or so. Pretty much, it looks like he may be out for the whole of December. Bradley is still being assessed, but the good news is that Trent Alexander should be back. He was on the bench in midweek against Real Madrid, and but Liverpool dominated that game very surprisingly, and even managing to concede a penalty, which Kelleher saved. They also won a penalty, which Salah failed to convert. So so obviously, naturally the next question is, will he be taken off penalties? The answer obviously is no. He should still continue to take penalties, and I don't think it's going to affect him. So other than that, other people out is Jota and Tip Simikas as well. My take is that Gomez should come in for
Konate,
and I think his height and his build is going to help as well. So City now, with City in the backed into a corner, so Pep is taking off from his prodigy Arteta in terms of not being deceptive about the injury situation. So we're saying we'll see. So we don't really know, but we do know that Kovacic, Doku, and Stones all didn't play in the midweek Champions League. Another bad result for City, who were leading 3-0. Haaland scored, by the way, as well, and ended up not winning. They ended up conceding 3 goals. So defensively is definitely a concern for those of you who are still undecided with the captaincy and might want to keep your captaincy till the very end game. Liverpool, obviously, and feel Salah has a good record, and Salah has a good record against City as well.
Yeah, I think interestingly, I read somewhere that Gundogan statement did mention this is a must-win game for Man City, and if let's say they lost this game, pretty much he did mention that they are out of the title race. So it is a big statement, or is it something like a statement that just want to mention to all his teammates, we have to rise for this game?
Yeah. It's all planned out, Like the whole idea is to motivate the squad to, but he himself isn't exactly being a good example as well in terms of performance. But when you look at the team, right, they're not that, Bernardo Silva, Grealish, Gundogan, they're not young, are they? So it's of course Foden and Haaland and Nunes are better lah. But Diaz should be back, Diaz is back, so it should help. The question is, how will City reshuffle their defensive? Will they make any changes? Guardiola was at risk, at fault for last week's games, but he's still a good threat going forward as well. Which is quite a big thing when you think about it, because no one else is scoring for City. It seems like Haaland, when Haaland doesn't score, then Guardiola pops in here and there. Who else? No one else. It's quite frustrating when you think about, if you're a City fan. Last time you had Alvarez who would come in and do a good job for them, but right now no one is contributing. When Haaland, because you should have a squad where if your star player isn't scoring, someone else needs to take up the slack, and that's the problem City have.
Right. So I can imagine, because I just take a quick look at the table position right now. They are 8 points away, and if they lost this, it will be 11 points gap. So I can imagine why there's a truthness in terms of Gundogan mentioned they will be out. 11 points gap will be tough to mount. Huge. And so I'm pretty sure they will need to turn up this game, but I do expect Liverpool to win. And you know what, man? In BBC Sport prediction for this game, despite all those talk about Manchester City need result for this game, Liverpool 4-1. So
4-1, right?
So because about Man City defensive rates right now, I think Liverpool has the form. Definitely Mo Salah in top form right now. So I believe they will this game. But in terms of captaincy, we'll touch on that later. Whether people talk about Palmer, whether Salah also in the mix. Okay. All right, man. Transfer traffic for this Gameweek 13. There is no surprise. The top two players is from the last matchup, Cunha and João Pedro, who actually scored big. Cunha scored 16. I believe Pedro 12 points. I'm right. So they are the top two forwards coming to replace Haaland, I suppose, or get rid of Raul Jimenez, those kind of players that need. And we did touch about Hafiz wildcard last week. He also have these two players. So Cunha and Pedro definitely is the most. And would you believe Cunha now selected by almost 20% managers, made that he is no longer a differential, definitely. Maybe 2 weeks before this, below 10%, but he is no longer there. João Pedro also already risen up to 15% ownership, I believe, right? So they are the striker that people are looking at. And then we have Saka, Salah, and Pedro Porro in the top 5 top transfer this week. Okay, Porro after that 14 points, and at home against Fulham. So maybe there is a case for Fulham, for Spurs defense, despite they are missing key personnel. Top transfer out, Haaland continue to lose ownership with 852,000 managers splitting him up from the squad. We also have Luis Diaz. We have Guardiola. You did mention about that. Man City keep losing game, but Guardiola still the force at the back and also main source for goal also for Man City. Raul Jimenez, I am not surprised. Okay, like one return for the past 5, if I'm right, and now is with festive period coming up, his minute will definitely up. Semenyo also maybe his suspension this week, but after this there's some good fixture for both parts, so I'm not sure about that. But these are the transfer traffic right now, man. So what the takeaways you can take from this?
Firstly, I think selling Semenyo is wrong. I think after seeing the highlights in the Brighton match, I think that Semenyo you should keep it if you have a other bench who can come in. Obviously this week he's suspended, but after that he still has a good run of matches. Raul, I feel that it's not so much that Raul isn't performing. It's just that you got Cunha, Pedro, Jackson, Isaac. You got all these people all suddenly jumping up and and staking their place, and especially Pedro, who's so cheap, you know. So it's because of these options that are more the reason why Raul is being sold. Then of course you got the City Exodus Haaland and Guardiola, not Diaz, sorry. But Diaz being transferred out is a bit of a surprise. I mean, obviously he didn't start last weekend, but he is quite important. I do feel that he is going to start in this game and not Gakpo, and I think Darwin will continue up top. But anyway, we'll see. It's a bit tough with Liverpool, and if I had Diaz, you know, I wouldn't want to have Diaz anyway, because that front line can be easily rotated, which is not good for FPL. So in terms of the transfers in, Haaland, 850,000, wow, and Cunha 900,000, so almost like a like for like. But obviously there's Pedro as well, lah. Yeah, Raul plus Haaland equal Cunha plus Pedro or something like that. I don't know, but so more people bringing in Salah, including yourself, I guess. So Cunha, Pedro is two people who I have myself, and together with Salah. So Pedro Porro, I feel that's a knee-jerk reaction. We're not going to see the likes of that kind of haul anytime soon from Pedro Porro. You know, if you had it this week, fine, but I don't think it's a reason for you to get them in. Now that they've lost Vicario, it even reduces the chances of getting a clean sheet as well. Okay, Saka. I'm divided on Saka. I'm not sure against West Ham he'll, you know, I think Arsenal will still win, but it may not going to be a haul, and we don't know Saka will be involved in it. I'm not sure, because in the past few matches, Lopetegui has shown, you know, seemed to have finally find out how to make West Ham work. You know, West Ham, one of the biggest problems with West Ham is that it's a lack of pace. They don't have enough pace across the squad, but they seem to have managed it and figured it out, as we saw in the Newcastle game. So, I mean, I'm divided in terms of the Saka option.
All right, Min, we talk a bit about captaincy. Let's go to just look at the projection, clean sheet goals and clean sheet odds for this week. I think what we can see here among the top is Brighton with 2.45 goals. This graphic from Rob T FPL and data from SpreadX. And the most important thing also here, there's a lot of potential 2 goals in the game. Brighton 2.45, Chelsea 2.10, Spurs there 2.25 against Fulham, Brentford versus Leicester 2.05, even Arsenal 2.15 away to West Ham, and then Manchester United at home against Everton 2.05. The highest in terms of clean sheets odds is Arsenal against West Ham 42%. Then we have Manchester United at home against Everton. Then the next one, Forest against Ipswich 38%. Then to an extent, Brighton 36%. So what do you think, Mick? Projected goals in terms of those teams that I just mentioned just now?
So the Brighton 2.45 just because Southampton is the worst team in the league, and the chances of CS is only 9%, is the lowest. Under is a single digit figure. So that's, you can see why the goals are so high. So, it's just a question, would you be willing to captain him in the first match of the week? And because I had this chat with in WhatsApp with one group, and the thing is, if I captain, as much as like to Pedro blank, let's say he blanks, then I'm going to have to wish everyone else blanks. Yeah, and I would have Mbeumo, I have Salah, I have to Cunha, I have to hope all these people blank as well. So, and that's not something I want to be approaching going into the Saturday, Sunday. Please blank. So I won't be, as much as like to think that Pedro will be the best. I'm not doing it out of pure psychological nonsense and not just for my state of mind. Okay, so Brentford 2.05, Arsenal 2.15. So and then you have Spurs. So Spurs still high, obviously after they lost after they won 4-0. But I do think Fulham are going to make it harder, and we do know how nonsense Spurs can be. Losing against Ipswich, winning against City. It's just so
I think they drew also in midweek against Roma, right?
Yes, they drew against Roma. Last minute equalizer. Chelsea, not as high as I thought it'd be, 2.10. But of course, you got Pedro Neto coming back, so that's going to help. I don't know whether or not it nullifies Palmer a bit more. And another thing with Arsenal is the away match compared to most of the other captaincy options. Yeah, so you got Cunha, you've got Palmer, you've got Salah, are all playing home. So Arsenal are playing away. So, but of course, on the other side, Arsenal have the highest chance of a CS, which is what was expected. Which is why last week there was a lot of talk about doubling up on the Arsenal defense again. I'm not a fan, but I do like having Timber as a possible attacking option. So yeah, we'll see. I think that Manchester United Everton rating Manchester United scoring 2 goals is overrated. That doesn't make sense at all. Sorry.
Just go to the projected top goal scorer for this week. We already saw the team that potentially scored this week. But really, is it João Pedro on top? Yes, it is. João Pedro, I expected 0.67 against Southampton. Second, Chris Wood against Ipswich. And then Palmer at third place. Then Welbeck to an extent, Bomo and Visa in the top 5-6. So yeah, you mentioned about all those things about Brighton playing early. So you might not captain Jota, but João Pedro has potential. We already saw last week. I think already back-to-back double-digit I just put there. If people to consider, only I think the reason is because the early kickoff, but is still one of the option. The second, in terms of premium, Palmer is on top. Haaland, even Salah is somewhere down there, but we believe Salah also have the potential form, despite all the narrative that we mentioned there. The predictor is forward. So, if let's say deciding captaincy from this, is it helping people to make decision in terms of who's the best captaincy for this week?
I don't know. You got Wood and Welbeck up there, but you're not going to pick them for the captaincy. When you have all these other very, explosive options. And Salah all the way down below Haaland, for that matter. It's just, obviously, it's based on because Haaland has accumulated a lot more XG than Salah. Salah has less chances, but he's more efficient. This season, he's just become more efficient like that. And that's probably why he's ranked lower. Does it help? Okay, so Saka isn't here either. Do you notice? Yeah, so because it's all about goals, and the thing with Saka is more than just goals. It's also a lot of that assists, set pieces he takes.
Monster of assists, right?
Yeah, so it may not necessarily be the good indicator. Another person who's not here is the other Brazilian-based Cunha. He's not here at all. So maybe he's under but because he's definitely being considered as a captaincy option, because in light of what he does for Wolves, he is the talisman, no doubt. So you take this into account, but you have to consider the other options, because this is really just about who's scoring the goals.
Yeah. I think that people are talking about Palmer as the premium pick for this week, but I don't think you can go wrong with Salah. Haaland been get rid by manager, so he might not be an option this week, playing away somewhere to Liverpool, despite Konate might be out. But I do believe Salah can potentially, and I do believe also Salah could be the highest pick captaincy for this week. People will just go for him first before go to any other player. What do you think?
Yeah, so this is I would like to captain him at home, and he has good records against City, but
you still can captain him. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to, because because of what happened in midweek, where that interview about him not having a contract. I'm not happy with that one. You know, I feel that's gonna have a say in his game.
Do you think it will affect his play?
Well, one theory is that it has, affected him. He missed the penalty already midweek, but
Okay, fair.
yeah, it's very tenuous, lah. But we've had this happen before. I can't remember which year it was where he started talking about something that he doesn't normally talk about, and after that the performances didn't do too well. So I don't know if it's the same thing. Again, it could just be a psychological thing on my part, but I think Salah will score. Will or not be a haul, I'm not sure. Yeah, so with the City will adopt a different approach. Who knows?
I think if let's say Salah score a brace or a hat-trick, I think after that Liverpool say quickly lah, you just sign the contract lah. No need to think lah. Right.
I think there's more to it lah, because he claims he hasn't been offered a contract. It's not. I don't think it's the case. I think it's more like I haven't been offered the contract that we want, which is
okay. Yeah. I think that's right.
Yeah, I cannot say that. Oh, we still haven't been offered a contract. I'm sure he has been. It's just not the one that they're going to accept.
The one that you want. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, man. Let's go to our team. I go to my team first. I already made my transfer. As you can see here, I have only one free transfer. I already made two, and I took a -4, which is Foden and Haaland out. That's what the thinking the midweek. And I do contemplating whether to hold Haaland, but I think we should go for the form player, of which Salah and João Pedro. We already mentioned the top two striker coming in this week, Cunha and João Pedro. So I have both of them in my team right now. Pedro potentially can go big against Southampton, and Salah, as you know, the most informed player. He is the top scorer right now in the FPL anyway. So there is a lot of justification where he needs to be in my team. Maybe he is late to the party for my team, but it's never too late to have Salah, definitely. But I have to pay 13.1, so that's the price I have to pay. And Haaland dropping to 15 million now. That is at least the par price at the beginning of the season anyway. But for the dropping price to 9.1, so I suffered some price loss there. But it doesn't matter. Already took the -4. So my team's right now like this: Flecken in goal, Konate. I'll touch on him later because I didn't know that news coming in. Konate against City. He'll be out for this week. Gabriel, he is also doubtful, but I'm hopeful he'll play. Nori at home against Bournemouth. Rogers, Salah as my vice captain. Bomo against Leicester. Palmer with my captaincy armband right now. João Pedro. Rahul away to Spurs. Hopefully he can deliver something. Cunha against Bournemouth, and you can see the disappointment because if Semenyo is not suspended this week, I would definitely play him over Rogers or Rahul, but he turns out to be suspended this week, so he's on my bench for now. Michaelenko and Greaves. So we already touched about that pick. I did mention about we thinking about bringing Saka over Semenyo or Rogers to just make sure my lineup better because Semenyo is suspended. But I think the priority now maybe Konate me. He'll be out for a while, right, Lin? You did mention about 5 weeks, but I'm not sure whether that 5 weeks is true or not. I haven't got any source of that. But he'll be out lah.
Yep, it is looking like he is out. So,
do you feel it will be out for a while, for a long time?
Well, the claim is 5 weeks. I'm just trying to find back the previous tweet that says.
I actually read the tweet from Konate himself that he definitely feels bad about it, and he tried to recover as soon as possible. So he might be out for a while, I suppose, from that.
Okay. Yeah. So the ones I have, from Anfield sector, set to miss 5 to 6 weeks for injury. From Eurofoot, I don't know. This Eurofoot has a cruciate ligament tear in his left knee. My wife's not around, but I was ask her. But I claim he's out for the next few months. So I don't know. But 5 or 6 weeks looks like the more accurate one. Yeah. So
you're talking about cruciate ligament. It sounds serious to me. And when you actually fit, you need time, right, to heal and so on to get back into fitness and so on. So Definitely, you
So-
cannot rush things.
Yeah, so I don't think you need to do a transfer now. I think you can just Mykolenko goes in.
Okay, fair.
Don't underestimate the chance that he could get a clean sheet.
Yep,
It is
understand. It already made me wrong for the past 2 game weeks, keeping clean sheet, right?
Oh,
Mykolenko.
that's right. Okay. So yeah, but otherwise, I don't think you can afford to
Reassess.
any more transfers. No, you do more transfers, you take more hits. We'll see what happens with Greaves. You know, he may come in. Yeah. So other than that, of course, your other issue is Gabriel. So, but I think he's fit. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah.
So-
So I think
so
Mykolenko just.
Other than that, you didn't. Did you consider Jackson at all, or you just felt that you need more transfers to be able to do that?
I mean,
How much do you have left in the bank?
I think like there's plenty of money for sure.
4, 3,
Yeah, 7 million.
7. There you go. So you can do it. It's just you don't have the taking more hits to do it.
Yeah.
So otherwise, yeah, I think it's fine. I think Raul does have a good shot and doing well against. Fulham needs to bounce back, and Spurs have lost the keeper. The organization is going to suffer.
Oh yeah, we didn't highlight that, right? So Foster will play in goal, right? Definitely, right?
Yeah. You did. Yeah.
Yes.
So no Vicario, no Van der Ven, and most likely no Romero either.
How
Obviously,
long?
Davies.
Yeah. How long Vicario will be out? You know?
Vicario will be out for a while. He had surgery. So
Okay.
but Angie has said they're not going to get a new keeper for the
Okay.
transfer window, but it
Right.
does indicate that he will be out for quite a while.
Okay. So potentially Foster could be a nice, say, someone Balkani this week, an option as your second keeper, but Fabian is still performing right now, right? So
Yeah, Fraser Foster comes in, and I mean, he's nowhere near the same quality lah. So that's why I feel that. Yeah, I think Spurs will
Alright.
concede.
Kevin, I have at least another hour to think whether I'm going to take a hit or not more than this, but it's not. I'll stick with this team. So
Your front line your front 7 look very familiar. So yeah, you look good. Okay. So I guess for me, because I didn't pass you, so I'll share it on screen.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
there. Is that all right? Yeah. Hang on, yeah.
So because I do remember that you already made a transfer, which is
so coming into the week, coming into the week, I had 4 free transfers, and on Sunday night, so very very fun feeling for me. So
your
Sunday
team
night, can you see? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Sunday night, I made the move to sell Haaland to catch the to profit, keep my 0.1 profit left in Haaland, and bought Pedro. So, and just before he went up in rank in price. So my backline, which is sells Gabriel, Robinson, and Alt-Nouri. So no changes there. The question is whether or not to put Sels or Sa. I even did a poll in a group because trying to figure out, because I think I'm the only person who has this dilemma. But I think Sels turns out to be the better quality keeper. And Bournemouth are also better than Ipswich in that goal scoring sense. So Sels won. So Alt-Nouri, attacking wise, Robinson attacking wise, and Gabriel clean sheet and possible set piece. Okay, so my front 7 looks exactly like yours. Because it is exactly like yours. When I was looking at it, this looks very familiar.
Wow, no wonder you mentioned that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same as yours. But I do have. I'm concerned about Rodgers. Yeah, I'm not. Whether or not I want to, because I do still have 2 more transfers left. I could
2 is it? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I had 4. Now I got 2 left. So I'm looking at it. So Guardiola's on the bench at the moment. So, but he'll be my first sub in. Let's say Gabriel doesn't make it,
Okay.
but I'm not expecting much out of him. But please
Okay.
don't have another 0. We'll see. So McNeil, who shouldn't be in the team anyway, so I could sell McNeil for Saka, but I'm just
Wow.
not. How much money do I have? I can't remember. I'm just not seeing it yet for Saka now. I mean, sure he called last week.
If you're in this station, I will do it. Just take
6.2.
out. I'll take out McNeil for Saka and play him over Rodgers this week. I definitely will do that if I have that free transfer. Even I consider to take -4 just to bring in Saka this week.
I want to sell Mbeumo next week and bring in Saka, not this week.
Fair. I know that could be because after this, the fixture for Brentford do mention that they have tough fixture.
Yeah,
that could
go
be another
down. Yeah, go horrible. So we'll see. We got 1 more hour to go. But I can tell you, I am also looking at Buonanotte as well as an option. So I want to see whether Leicester is, I want to see the things leading up. If any noise, I'm checking the forums to want to see is that, do they think there's going to be a bounce? So it's a bit of a long shot, but I don't mind. Because my plan is still to bring in Saka the week after. So but because McNeil and Mbeumo should be leaving my squad at some point. So just when. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
The 2 transfer you made this week is João Pedro and
João Pedro for Haaland.
Yes.
And Johnson for Palmer.
Oh, okay. All right. So Palmer. So you're gonna captain Palmer this week, man? The feeling now?
I have it as on Palmer now. I just feel that last week, remember we talked about Villa and said Villa are missing these players, so they're gonna concede, and they did. But now they have got Konza and Kamara back. But let's face it, even when they had these players and Digne, they still conceded anyway because they have this operational ways of playing very high line, and Chelsea have the players to exploit that. So I'm not sure Emery will change his style. Yeah, so I think that. So I'm still, but when you look at it, right, it's one of the tougher fixtures.
Yep.
To captain compared to Pedro against the bottom league. Saka against West Ham, maybe Salah against City technically because City are such bad form. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just getting.
Actually, I just give opinion because I watch the Football Hub team selection by FPL Salah, and he mentioned about Palmer, and he position is at 3 million plus rank is somewhere like mine lah, but a bit much better, but 3 million rank. So what he mentioned about reasoning why captain Palmer is because he expecting a lot of manager gonna captain Salah. That's his expectation this week. And if you want to do some catch up, and this could be a potential differential, that's why he thinks that Palmer a good differential that can give points. So he go for that, and hopefully Salah don't so explode for that City game. But it is a risk. So I like his reasoning. So maybe it also applies to me, right? But maybe for your case, it's different because you are 200k rank. What do you think?
I should captain Salah and just go over, right?
I think so because I do believe most manager will captain Salah this week. Would you agree on that?
I hate you. Why do you have to say this?
Would you agree on that? Would you agree that a lot of manager will captain Salah this week? Would you agree?
Isn't it a crazy thing to say that the safest play this week is to captain Salah against City? How insane is that? I don't know. I mean, the thing is, because I talked about it for a long time, and almost every week I was mentioning how Salah has yet to score more than 1 goal, and then last week he scored 2. Finally, meanwhile Palmer made 4 goals randomly at some point. So explosive. The ceiling for Palmer is can be very, very high. The thing is, can Salah follow up a brace with a hat trick against City?
I think
I don't
the
know.
one concern about Palmer, he doesn't have the form right now. The past 3 games, he doesn't really produce.
Exactly.
I think that's
part
another
of it,
reason to think.
yes. So I don't know. I'm that part is hurting me because it's he's not in the goal scoring form. Obviously, he got unlucky with Madueke blocking his shot, But still, because when he started the match, he was not playing in that position. It was on the left side, and he wasn't very effective. It's only in the second half that he moved to the right, and he was a lot more effective. So I don't know whether Maresca will realize this, and why worry so much about that defend and just go attack. I don't know, but
I'm also not sure. Still, I feel uncomfortable because Salah can be the better option for this week. But if you're chasing, maybe there's a reason. For my position, for yours, you have to think.
at the same time, Pedro has the minutes risk because he's not going to play full. So I might just roll a dice at this stage.
All right, man. Just take a couple questions here from Austin B. Talking about Van Heck or Hall coming in. I think Brighton have really excellent fixture. Despite Van Heck maybe slightly lower XG for Hall, but Hall had potential to produce attacking return. What do you think, man?
Okay, yeah, Hall has the potential for attacking returns, but I think it's just potential. I go for Van Heck.
Okay, nice. Aksha Thakur asked about this. Not a lot of questions. Asking about 4.1 or less playing defense. It's a tough one, right? You can just a filler, I suppose.
Yeah,
how
you got less
space, right?
Yeah, you got Leicester, but do you really want them if it's just to play? I mean, if you're not expecting much from them, yeah, you can go for it. But I don't know.
You're finding someone a filler, then don't know, but you're finding someone at 4.1 who actually play with tough one, right? And to give you points, I believe so.
Yeah. Greaves doesn't come back yet. Kwanzaa, if you get Kwanzaa starting, if we see, but
I don't think Kwanzaa
going to
start
now. Sorry.
I don't think Kwanzaa going to start, right? Gomez will start, right?
I don't know, yeah, and we won't know. So I think Akshay, it's too risky. So you probably better off going for a Leicester defender, but it's just a filler really because you really can't expect much. Or Howard Bellis.
Yeah, I think Howard Bellis, Howard Bellis or Pace, but both are conceding goals as a filler.
Yeah.
Another
Howard
option
has scored goals, so it might be an option.
Okay. Another option is Van der Berg at Brentford, 4.1 right now, the right side of Brentford. But I think Brentford fixture also going to turn after this. But it's still an option at 4.1 if you want to go there.
I'm also worried with Brentford whether they'll shuffle the start, how they work, because they haven't scored clean sheets. Although to be fair, last week they did keep a clean sheet, but that was against Everton. But yeah, I think Leicester might be where it's at for this price now.
Yeah, I just have a quick look at other option if I mean the option. Greaves, Tuanzebe, but it's switch anyway. I don't think you have a lot of option. I think those three names that we can mention here. All right. Wow, Rakyat MPL just joined, I suppose. Couldn't take it WhatsApp. No question for me. Azmin, they mentioned about for option for me, I think you can keep. Tapi definitely jual lah if let's say you have connected right now and you have free transfer to spare, right? To go where is another question, but I think I'll go for the Arsenal defense, which is Timber. I think that's the first coming to my mind. Correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, man. We are at the end of the stream. Before we go, just take a look at our league. Where is it?
Sukati.
Rakyat FPL tanya, João Pedro bench any leagues? Is it? I don't think so, right?
No, I haven't got any leaks, but yeah. So, let's. Yeah, I guess we got an hour. We got 45 minutes. Okay, so not as long as I thought. So yeah, let's all take a look. I didn't get any info yet about Pedro bench.
Oh man, they will hurt me more. Just bring in for this week.
Because you don't have any bench. But yeah, no, I don't see why they would bench him.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah. I mean, the minutes will be managed, no doubt, but there's no reason for him not to start, unless there's an injury that they haven't told us about.
All right, sorry, man, I couldn't show my slide again. I have an issue back. But anyway, we can conclude our stream, man. So good luck to everyone for Gameweek 13, and hopefully to see you again next week for Gameweek 14 deadline, I suppose, right, man?
Yep, and for those of you still waiting to the last minute for transfers, there's plenty of options out there. There's Andy Let's Talk FPL is on, FPL Mate is on Twitter. There's Fantasy Football Hub, moderated by the ever reliable Gian Batra, is on, so you hopefully can get your leaks from there. We're signing off. It's almost 2 a.m. over here in Malaysia, so I think we're gonna spend the last 30 minutes seeing whether or not I want to make that last transfer. All right. So I'll see you on the other side, and all the best for Gameweek 13.
Okay. Take care, everyone. All the best. Bye.
Take care. Remember, the next game is Tuesday night deadline is Gameweek 14 rush. All right. Suddenly, here we go. All right. Bye-bye.